the African Nationalist Pioneer Movement, and this is, as you see it before you, is the Black Challenge, the paper of the movement, and we will read from the Nationalist Manifesto out of that. The time is at hand when a black man must pause and take serious note for the rapid current of world events. Life for people of the African stock has been for the past 3 centuries a relentless struggle for survival. Not so much against the forces of nature, nay, nature blessed the African race with the richest of all continents, the finest of all climates, and has equipped the black man with the greatest and most rugged physique among men, together with a woman whose wholesome beauty, sparkling eyes, rhythmic gait, warm, tender smile, and cheerful and affectionate disposition cannot be assailed or rivaled by any other female. The black man menace has been and still is the white man's diabolical determined plan to commit genocide. Even as they exterminated the American Indians and the Australian Aborigines, so too every plan, every scheme point to their murderous intent to liquidate the African people. Chieftain of the Lumbungo asks in the 19th century, when was the British barbarously exterminating the Bongawangos? Why do you kill my people? Today their methods is more subtle, but just as effective. Hundreds of thousands die in Kenya and quarter in compound and starvation. Death to them will come through a slow, painful agony of malnutrition. It's a genocide. In Cuba, under the pretense of revenge against the Batista regime, Castro got the black population. The black man, if he desires to survive, will have to embrace black nationalism totally. The greatest tools of the white supremacists are the flunky vessels, the modern-day custodians of Uncle Tom's Cabin, the lackey that fought of the doctrine of Marcus Garvey, the stooges that today advocate civil rights, social equality, and miscegenation in America. The gang of British Toms in the West Indies that see themselves as part of the British Empire encourage the black man to sell his land and seek fortune in England, only to find there, upon arrival, a hungry mob of murderous bent whites waiting to bury them. It's a genocide. The African Nationalist Pioneer Movement, through the executive spokesman Carlos A. Cooks, is calling on the world of black men everywhere to rally behind the doctrine of black nationalism. The permanent future for black men here in America. The integration doctrine that has fostered so much strife is but a death trap for the blacks, deliberately agitated by people who do not belong to the race and have no intent for our race at heart, and are using black men as a distracting force, lest what happened to them in Germany and other European countries happen here. Nigga stooges try to use and perpetuating their cruel joke by selling it will sell their own mothers into bondage for the sake of being able to move around as circus clowns of the circle of white society. They may be black in color, but psychological bastards, whose fate in the final honor reckoning will be the common end of a traitor. Next to the white man, the greatest enemy of Africa and black opportunity ranks the integrationist, the civil righter, the miscegenation, and close behind becomes the communist, and those who encourage the black man to take his problem to the Lord in prayer and leave it there. The gang in Africa cannot understand that. They cannot and they will not be in any partnership between the African and the white man. It's not in the nature of the white man to share anything. Did he share America with the American Indians? No. Did he share Australia with the Australian Bushmen? No. Where is the American Indian and Australian Bushman? They're both dead, victims of their own charity and gullibility. They too believe that they can share the land with the white man. Isn't it strange that African leaders cannot realize that the white man shares Europe with no one? The picture in Africa from the standpoint of leadership narrows down to 2 states that are potentially capable of spearheading the drive for a total reclamation of the continent of Africa. Namely, Egypt, based on the dramatic drive of that great organizer, Abdul Gamal Nasser, and the Sudan, based on his last Van area and strategic location. Ethiopia, under present leadership, must be written off as a feudal embrace to the design of a modern free Africa. Liberia is but an extension of white imperialism. Ghana is a model for a new type of British colonialism. Guinea is much too involved in battles of survival at this time to make this power felt. The position of blacks in the Western world should be and must be one of militant nationalism and marshaling the organization of all black people and link up their power with the patriots of Africa, organizing combat brigades, medical units, and pioneer corps. These should be organized and held in readiness so when our decision toils, black men everywhere will not only be willing, but they should be able to answer the call. The conflict thickens, O ye brave. Let's charge for Africa or the grave. Wave Africa, let your banners wave. Attack black man with your ferocious rage. Few shall part where many meet. The sacred road of Africa shall be the winding sheet. On every turf of the ground, beneath the invader's sacrilegious feet, shall be a white scapular. By Carlos Cook. Carlos Cook and the African Nationalist Pioneer Movement also started by black. The African Nationalist Pioneer Movement advocated the uniting of all people of African ethnic origin in one healthy, virus black race. We are against miscegenation or race suicide. We are against rich blacks marrying poor whites. We believe in the purity of the black race and the purity of all other races. We are against the white race or any race taking advantage of our black women. We know that the black race is good as any other, and therefore should be as proud of itself as other races are. We know the social, political, and the physical separation of all races due to the extent that they may promote their own ideas and civilization. And with the privilege of trading and doing business with each other is positively necessary. We know that nature has drawn indelible lines forever restricting that black and white races upon being integrated from living equally free. We know that the communist white man, as well as the capitalist white man, stands on one platform when it concerns the black man. That is white supremacy. We know that Mongolians are interested in their own security. Arabs have shown by their record as slave traders that they would gladly exploit blacks and Africa, and currently doing so through Mohammedanism. We know that the idea of God was perceived by man, and hence man made God, and that the brotherhood among man is possible only between members of one given race. We know the rights of black man must be achieved and maintained by blacks. We're here to one cause, one goal, one destiny. We know that the race salvation cannot be attained within the realms of religion or unapologetic Uncle Tom leadership. It must be black nationalism or eternal vassalage. We are against caste, what's called whether Negro, colored, sepia, tan, or whatever you have. We prefer to be called what we are, black men and women. We strongly advocate for the promotion of a powerful black nation in Africa. Africa for the Africans. We believe in the political and physical independence of all men. We advocate complete economic control by blacks of all African communities in America, creating thereby self-determination and race pride. We say by blacks so your children will revere your memory, patronize your own people's business, and build a sovereign economic future. We know that we are not obligated or bound by the opinions of others, therefore are entitled to our own opinions and the right to guide our own destiny. That's Carlos Cook and the African Nationalist Pioneer Movement. Subscribe to the channel and much love to this ancestor, Carlos A. Cook.